Get the profile going so we can triple dip here, right? Because we always got to triple dip, right? We got to get as much stuff going as possible. And yeah. So give me a minute here, guys. I'm going to get everything up and flowing so that we have all platforms running. And we're going to triple dip and hopefully get a good cardio session for you guys. We got an hour run in this morning. We only did that on YouTube, though. Now we're going to hit all the Facebook stuff. I'm going to hit my profile, too. So, hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just getting my morning cardio done. I'm streaming on everything at the moment. Right? Streaming on everything at the moment. So hopefully we get a good stream going. Hopefully we get lots of questions, lots of comments. I already have plenty of views coming in on YouTube, also on my profile. Hey, Jacob, I subscribe your crazy membership. I don't see the thing next to your name, bro. Like if you subscribed here, or do you mean on Facebook? I think there's a Jacob with your thing on Facebook. So yeah, so I have subscriptions on both Facebook and YouTube. I think you're one of my Facebook subscribers. I'm also streaming there right now. I'm streaming on all platforms at the same time. Must be a Facebook. Yeah, I know Jacob. There's definitely a Jacob who's on there, so that's probably you. All good though, brother, man. So give me a like here in YouTube, and let's get some comments going. But I am also streaming on Facebook if you want to chime in there at the same time. All right. But I do need to get a little bit going here for my profile just for the outreach, because I need those reels. It wants me to do reels for my Rising Creator badges, right? What? It's not doing the thing to turn it into a reel. Well, oh man, oh well. I'll have to deal with that later. Probably needs to be longer for that to happen. But all good, guys. So hit the likes though, guys. We got plenty of views in here on YouTube. We don't have any likes going. But hopefully we'll get some more comments. We'll get some questions. All right. And everything will be good. All right. Hopefully everything is good. Yeah, had a pretty good run this morning. Hit 5K record. That's gonna keep going down. I want that to get down to 25 minutes, but that's gonna take a bit. It hit 35 today. I ran obviously longer than 5K, but it did note somewhere in there that my 5K, it probably wasn't necessarily the first 5K, just at some point during the run. But yeah, I've been running so far like 30 minutes on lifting days, and I've been doing an hour on non-lifting days just for this week. Right? All right. Yeah. So now we're going to get this in. Morning, Sagnick. How you doing, brother? You doing good, man? All right. Also, guys, hit that like button on the YouTube. We got plenty of views in here. No likes so far. You guys got to get on top of that, please. Those likes will get more people in the stream. But I'm hoping we have a nice solid stream. There we go. Thank you for that first like. And I don't know how long I'm going to do this one. I did an hour yesterday. So I think with the running, I had to focus on just the running, and then later in the morning, some mornings I can get in. We can get a double stream going. We can answer people's questions. So a lot of people don't like the runs. They're like, you can't really answer questions. It's like, yeah, because I'm trying to run. I can't really stop running to read it. Do you believe leg curls are necessary for maximum hamstring development? Good question, Benjamin. I mean, biomechanically, we could argue yes. Evidence-wise, doesn't appear to be the case. In fact, I saw Minnow link a study not long ago, a week or two ago, actually, to where they measured comparing like hamstring curls or the Romanian deadlifts in two different groups, and they found the muscle growth identical, right? They found the hamstring development the same. So we can get into those arguments about a radiation effect when we start doing multiple sets close to failure, right? And so a lot of this obsession we have with individual heads in the context of multiple sets, hard sets, going close to muscle failure, multiple exercises being done might be completely irrelevant. And I think what we do need to look at, it's never necessary. There's no evidence really to suggest that isolating a muscle is ever required. So that's the thing we get into with that. Well, that one function, but isn't it being worked to some extent? Going to be some overlap. Also, you're still going to get muscle fibers that get loaded as we get really heavier, really close to failure, no matter what. And that's where we run into problems with a lot of these ideas. Sagnig, I don't care about that at all. That is in no way related to fitness. Let's please stay on fitness topics in these. Okay, fair? So this is a fitness channel. We don't give a single flying F about Ayn Rand. How much did she deadlift? That's all I care about. How much weight did Ayn Rand deadlift? I need you to go find out. So if she couldn't deadlift a respectable weight, I don't care about her opinion on anything. Why would we? If she wasn't fit and in shape and strong, why do we care about her opinion as fitness people? It's irrelevant. Best tricep isolation, I'm linking over head rope extensions. I don't know that there is a best, right? I think rope extensions are pretty good though. I think even rope press downs are pretty good. Do wide squats allow you to lift heavier? I need you to define the word you. So are we taking that in the English context of when I say, hey, how are you doing? Or do you mean you as a general, vague human species? Not you people. Okay, thank you. Like you guys got to learn to be very specific in your questions if you want an answer. Otherwise, you're going to get a lie. Right? I can't give you an honest answer if I don't know the question. So people in general, statistically, probably more people than not. Are there world records with really narrow stances? Yes. Are the majority of world records with a wide stance? Yes. Like probably literally like 3 or 4 to 1. So yes, for most people, however, there's a fairly significant number of outliers. Well, if I'm training standard bench press, would I want to pick a different grip, tricep isolation, or man? Maybe. Maybe. That's kind of the point I'm getting to with a lot of this stuff, though. Do we even, code, we're live, Peppermint. Do we even have evidence that we even need to isolate them? I mean, if we go heavy and hard enough, does a long head not get work? So what's our concern with the tricep? You've got 3 heads of the tricep. Even Dr. Mike has said, look, a lot of your lat work and pull-ups and stuff are absolutely going to get carried over to the long head of the tricep. So even if you're talking in terms of a workout, if you did a bunch of pull-ups with all of your pressing, wouldn't all 3 heads of the tricep be worked over the course of the workout? And I'm not saying you can't isolate stuff. My point with some of this is that it's not necessary to isolate stuff to reach all the heads of muscles. You can do it. There's nothing wrong with it. It certainly can be very effective. But if you're going to really look at this and answer the question and say, if you're pressing and doing other stuff, is it still not being worked? So why do you necessarily need a different grip for your isolation? Your tricep has 3 heads. You're looking at, are all three heads getting sufficient work to cause the muscle growth that you want? It's not a question of the grip that you use, because some grips are completely ineffective. Like press downs with the underhand grip, we know they suck. You lose load and tension, right? I heard you started running barefoot. How's that going? Hey man, you just saw the vlog, Jacob. I literally just did an hour-long run on camera this morning. I do it every day on camera, so it's streamed. And then I put up screenshots on Facebook and Instagram of the actual Strava data, right? It's going pretty good. We need trained triceps to get carryover effect on the bench. Maybe, but they get trained on those too. Just going to point out, when my arms looked bigger and I was actually really respectable at overhead pressing, I wasn't doing any tricep work, by the way. I wasn't doing any. And you guys saw me literally doing rep work with 205 on the standing press and holding the lockouts and stuff. Just rep work. Coach, did you begin to see the most growth in your forearms? I don't, just basically just from pulling. My forearms grew just from general lifting, right? And I started with skinny forearms, but honestly, when I started rowing and deadlifting and stuff, particularly no straps, my forearms blew up, because I have really small forearms genetically. You know, people will say that with some of the others. This is not the best angle, but I've done some of the forearms, like, wow, your forearms are pretty big. But genetically, they're tiny. Just pulling without straps, tons and tons of pulling. Would you count the protein from bread to the daily total? Yes, of course. Yeah. No, your total protein counts. It absolutely counts. You can't not count it. Are we going to argue it's not the most bioavailable? Sure. But if you're eating a mixed source of protein, as long as, look, if you're hitting the 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, right? And as long as it's mixed protein source and a reasonable amount of it is coming from animal sources with a higher bioavailability, it's not going to matter. The data on that shows that. When you start saying, oh man, we really have to worry about it to a great degree, is when your protein intakes are getting low. If you're only eating 100 grams of protein, yeah, you better really, really care about that. But if you're eating 200 grams of protein and some of it's animal source, there is literally no reason to even worry about that. It all counts. And if we're talking from the data that we have, as long as it's mixed source protein and you're getting those target numbers, it's not necessary to worry about that. And of course, you would count all of it. It's still protein. It still has protein calories. It still has amino acids, you know, even if it is a lower bioavailability. And we all agree, like the protein in bread, in terms of the grand scheme of things, is a pretty garbage source of protein. Right, we know that. It's pretty far down the quality scale. Would you say fat grips helped? The axle, I don't have fat grips. I have an actual axle bar. Yeah, no. I find the axle bar, okay, me personally, I don't feel any extra here. It's all in my extensors, right? The fat bar hammers the hell out of my forearm extensors. It doesn't seem to do any other care. My flexors don't feel any more work at all. It's the same when I used to do the fat bar pull-ups. Dude, part of me wants to flip that bar over and go to the fat bar for the pull-ups. Oh, because those were fun, right? Dude, your grip gets so strong, so strong. Like I can really remember that. Like, man, my grip just felt, when I was doing pull-ups with that fat bar, my grip just felt so rock solid. Like, part of me wants to flip it back over and do that. It's also felt really good on my shoulders. Is cheese a good source of protein? Cheese is a great source of protein. The problem is there's a whole lot of saturated fat that adds up real quick if you're not careful. So is it an amazing nutrition source? Not so much. Is it an amazing protein? Of course. It's casein protein mainly, which is 80% of milk protein is casein. Casein is a phenomenal high quality protein. Jacob said, what are you doing for forearms? Pull-ups and deadlifts. All right. Hanging leg raises. That'll be the tricky part too, though. If I flip that fat bar over and I do my toe to bars with a fat bar, man, you know what I'm saying? I remember during my vegan phase making seitan with gluten flour, thinking it was killing the 80 grams of protein meals. I was starving regardless and losing weight. No, you digest it. It's just, yeah, you're only getting maybe half of it. What about peanut butter? What about peanut butter? The low quality protein is a great source of fats and fiber, though. Like natural peanut butter, assuming it doesn't have a bunch of stuff. No, it's phenomenal. Tyrone says, I feel my biceps more when using fat grits, maybe because of the added use of the thumb. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I can see that. Let me put it this way. I've never personally felt more bicep from using a fat bar on all the pulling, but I know people. You're not the first person I've heard who said that. Let's put it that way. I've heard multiple other guys say, I don't know, man, it lights my biceps up. So given that a number of people feel that, I know people personally who feel that, you might be right. And it might be for some people. Do you like straps for back training? No. Why? Have you seen the size of my back? Everyone freaks out. They're like, dude, your lats and back are freakish. I don't pull with straps. Why would you need to do that? You're just going to have small forearms and a weak grip for no benefit to your back. I get it if you're doing cheat. If I'm doing crazy cheat rows, sure, because you can't grip a cheat row. Like when I've done cheat rows, I'll do like 315, right? Because I can do strict. I can bang out 9 reps super strict with 225 on a rope, right? Just a bent over row. But if I want to go to 315 and I'm doing cheat reps, I can't double overhand hold that with cheat reps. But it's like the only reason to use the straps is for cheat work. What's your opinion on Zercher squats, coach? Well, how do I put this? Part of me always says I think they're useless, but they're really not. Look, as a functional exercise, they're pretty dang good. I think for sports carryover, they're pretty dang good. The problem is when people think that they can completely replace the back squat for leg development, they're gonna not be as good. Like you're simply not gonna get the same tension and stuff on the quads and everything, because you're going to be a little more limited on the weight. But in terms of just as a full body strength developing tool, they're pretty dang good. It's that my issue is when people try to treat them as a full replacement for the back squat and think they're going to get the best leg development. No. But, if I were doing a grappling type sport, like some sort of wrestling or BJJ, they do make sense, right? They do make sense in that context. Good morning, Ryan's over here in Facebook. Good morning, Ryan. We're also on YouTube. You're getting some good workouts in. Ryan's Team Blaha client. He hit a lifetime adult low PR on his body weight this morning, by the way. You guys need to give Ryan some props for that. Do squats target the glutes and quads equally? Technically, no, they do cause more glute growth in the lab. Like they're a great quad exercise, but when it's been studied, full depth squats, full range of motion squats do cause a little more glute growth than they do quad growth in the lab. Heavy hack squats build thick legs. Yeah, they can. I've only got 80 kilograms to make squats as hard as possible. You do front squats. I'd just do front squats in that case. All right. And you build up to where you can do 20 reps of front squats with 80 kilos. You're going to have good, decent sized legs. Ask Ryan. He's over here, and he's only on Facebook at the moment. right? We're doing back squat. Then I have him do one burnout set of front squats just because of equipment limitations right now. He's up to getting pretty respectable at them real fast. I think that shocks people that, yes, I have clients who both back and front squats, needs dependent. Very needs dependent. I wonder why it didn't let me turn that into a short, to a reel on Facebook. I don't know. That just bothers me for the profile because I need those reels. I have to have it for my Rising Creator badge. You got to have your badges, guys. That's important. Right? It's important stuff. Also, squats target the adductors and adductors. Yes, absolutely. Benjamin. I mean, again, in a head-to-head comparison, there was a study that looked at the ratios. We're talking full squats. We're not talking low bar. We're talking high bar squats, ass to grass. They did find that adductor and glute growth slightly outpaced quads, but quads grew amazingly well. Could be doable. Jacob says our rack is 2 living room chairs, though, so they're low. Could be awkward. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only 80 kilos. Can you clean it? Right? You could clean it. Yeah. Well, I've got Ryan hitting rep PRs on the front squat. He just does rep work with it. Like he'd never done it before. I had him start with 135. We're just stacking weight. He's up to doing high reps with like 200 now at this point. I can't seem to train heavy compounds to failure for multiple sets without only hitting them once a week. Do you keep reps in the tank? Not necessarily. Get in shape. But, what are we calling failure? Are you hitting failure with good form and just riding it to the pins? Or are you doing crazy grinders and cheating? There's a difference. Appreciate the like, Carol. I'm also in Facebook if you want to swing through there and help a brother out. Because Carol likes to hit me on both. I've done, you're not going to like this, controversial. I've done on camera like bench and squats, 3 sets to failure back to back multiple times a week and replicated performance all the way through. But that's me. Conditioning and being in shape, probably a factor. Familiarity and having super clean failures, right? Like if I miss, I just ride them to the pins. We don't grind. We don't try to lift the butt up. We don't do crazy stuff. We just ride them down. Just momentary failure. Ride them to the pins, unload it, re-rack it. But there's nothing wrong with leaving a rep in the tank. Like most of my stuff right now, I do about 1 to 0 reps in reserve on it anyways. You just want the last rep to be hard and slow down. If you get there, you're in a good set on your big lifts. But a lot of movements you really do want to take to failure, like an overhead press, a pull-up. I get with squats and benching. Anything to where you get stapled under the bar, there is a certain psychological aspect to that. Grinder sets with drop sets to failure, good cardio. No, that's not failure. Okay, that's why you're struggling with the recovery. Controversial. Okay, that's why you're struggling with the recovery. Makes sense? It's literally because you're doing all this extra grinders, you're doing drop sets. Drop sets don't cause any muscle growth without steroids, like your natty. I've done detailed videos on why. If you're not on drugs, you're not getting any extra muscle growth from the drop sets and things. So with no steroids behind it, it's not doing anything beyond the failure rep. So all you're doing is beating your recovery into the ground. So then you're noticing, I can't do more than that. I can't hit it more than once a week. Do you see the point? Because you're beating your recovery into the ground. If you just did normal clean sets to failure, it wouldn't be as problematic. Appreciate the comment and the like in Facebook also, Carol. Do you think shoulder isolation exercises are necessary? No, I don't think they are. I don't think they necessarily are at all, especially if you're doing other shoulder wider grip pull-ups, you're doing overhead pressing. I doubt it. Again, we can argue about laterals if you're really trying to chase a certain look, but are they necessary to have good balance shoulder development? I don't think that they are. Now, mind you, I've done a ton of laterals, or people say, well, you got pretty decent shoulders, and I've done tons of that, but I can't say that my shoulders are necessarily better than when I just lived on overhead work. Does bench before squat weaken squats? When I did it felt weaker. If it feels weaker to you, then it probably is weaker, Jacob. Right? So in that case, it feels weaker. Well, then you might want to reconsider it if the squat's a priority for you. I just squat first these days. This makes my life easier. All right. And you're not dealing with any risk of back fatigue, because that could be it too. Like if you're arching and stuff on your bench, that arch could be fatiguing your low back, going to interfere with the squat. Could be an issue. Like right now, if you'll notice my workouts, I usually squat, bench, and then deadlift. That's my rotation. All right. Puff, puff, give. People be getting shot for fucking up the rotation. All right. I can't be saying that. I'm on Facebook too. No profanity. I did not drop an F-bomb. I can't tell if I'm being a pussy though and just psyching myself out. Could be. Or it could be low back fatigue. You know, switch them over and see if the performance is different. Because even if it's psychosomatic, if it's affecting your performance, it's affecting your performance. If it's negatively affecting your performance, even if it's psychological, it's not a good thing. Is that fair? Okay, that arch. So you do a pretty aggressive arch on your bench and then you bench first. Well, that would explain it. Also, get those likes up, guys. Well, we only have 8 likes. We had like 40 viewers at one point in here. Hit them like button. Come on now. Do you think it's possible to look like Brad Pitt from Fight Club, Natty? Yes. I didn't even hesitate on that one. Although the running joke I used to put in forums is that the rumor was that for Fight Club, you have to use Winstrol in suppository form. It used to be our running joke. That's the only way to achieve the Brad Pitt Fight Club look, was to use Winstrol in suppository. Sometimes if you got to just be careful if you use amps instead of the pills, because that glass could break up inside there. He was dry though, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, he was lean. I mean, Brad was 155 pounds at 5'10", bro, with cinema, right? Yeah, this is not a steroid look. Yes, he got lean, but what you guys are, that's not what you call bodybuilder contest, right? That's not like, oh man, he had the burgers and a bunch of winning and master on. No, he could have. Don't get me wrong. Actors tend to juice for those roles as a general rule. But are you asking me, could the look he had there, the size, the leanness, be obtainable natural? Easily. Like, that's not like a 5-year goal here, guys. Like, average lifter, 1.5 years. And then diet. I mean, you're going to need to diet down pretty dang lean. You're looking at a year, 1.5 years of working out from zero. With no drugs. Like, I'm talking complete sedentary. Would reverse hypers fix lower back pain? In some cases, yes. Is it guaranteed to fix low back pain? No. Does it have the potential to help? Absolutely. And it helps in many people's cases. Best answer I can give you. Dude is not even big in that film, just really lean, right? Yeah, I mean, he's not big. Like that's literal, just finish up your new gains. Right? You're looking at, so if you're coming from being untrained, you've never touched a weight in your life, 12 to 18 months and just get lean. Do cardio, clean your diet up, get lean. Right? You'll be there. Very straightforward. He's not small. Yeah, he's not small either. He built a little muscle. I mean, he's not untrained. You know, he's not at untrained status by any means. And then we're not saying that he was. But the guys who lift will downplay that and be like, compared to someone who's never touched a weight, he's pretty big. Let's be honest here, right? You take that same body fat level for someone who's never worked out, they're going to be 20 pounds lighter, right? We all agree. You take someone who's never lifted and they just go run to get to that body fat and do no working out, no lifting, they're going to be 20 pounds lighter than he was there. And I think that's a fair statement. But he was definitely not like one stroll master on dry, not even close. Right? Jacob says, just say no. Right. That much leanness, though, with 18 months of training, could you get there without completely starving yourself? Probably not. Or you're going to have to cardio into the ground. Because wasn't big. He doesn't have a super high energy turnover. Yeah, your diet would need to be reasonably restrictive. Yeah, probably have to starve yourself. Because again, he's not at a high muscle mass. Or you have to live on cardio, one or the other. There's no cigs and basement water, right? Right? I mean, fair. That pretty Troy, though, more interesting. Yeah, he's definitely bigger than Troy. Trying to remember, but definitely another 10, 15 pounds. Easily. So, in Troy, I mean, I don't know the stats, but just based off memory, I'm going to say that was about a solid 10, 15 pounds of muscle growth difference between Fight Club and Troy. I think that sounds about right without me going to look. You know, do I need to Brad Fight Club? And then we'll go back, hit Troy, so that I can actually really make an assessment. Yeah, I'm going to call it about, 10 to 15 pounds of muscle difference there. A lot more shoulder too. Delts and stuff are a lot bigger. How much do you think Kennedy's on? I don't care. Probably not much at this point. He's not really as big or as jacked as he used to be. He's probably just on a low dose of maybe some TRT or something. Who knows? I mean, guys, even me, I mean, I'm not exactly tiny. I'm not ripped either, but I mean, I'm literally just on a replacement dose of test. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trolling you guys. All right. Richard who controversy. You guys got to be stop dropping first names. You guys know the rules. I know like 5 Richards. You got to narrow it down. All right. He was probably, I think he did juice for Troy a little bit of gear. Okay. Well, he admitted to it. Well, like it was kind of obvious. So not much, just a little something. I think he did a little mild gear for Troy. Just looking at it versus the other stuff, he definitely did a blast. I don't think he went. It's not like he's using a ton of gear, but he definitely using a little bit. What about San Malawale? Why do you guys want me? Okay, let's just stop. Let's just stop trying to pin down all the influencers of what they use and how much. If they're an influencer, they're on a little something. Let's just get over it. Next, let's not keep dropping individual names, because then what happens? Then people start fights. Like, if I answer these questions, what do you think happens? Blaha said you're lying and on steroids. Here's the link. They're all on something. Done. All right. You bringing back the fake natty callouts? Just looking at. No, but I am just calling it like it is. Jacob, the thing is, let's just call it. They're fake natties, just in general. The general rule, if they're in fitness YouTube, they're on gear. Not saying they're using a bunch, but they're generally going to be on something. That's just the nature of the industry. Problem is, a lot of them are on a lot. That's why you're seeing guys really getting hurt. That's why you're seeing guys like whatever, what's his nuts, getting hurt on machines with lightweight. He's using too much trim. His V saucing his V, probably. Come on, guys, fitness-related topics. Yeah, we don't need YouTube drama. We don't care about no drama. Lars says, afternoon, coach. Good afternoon, Lars. Drop them likes. Also got my Amazon wish list. Other people want to buy Coach Protons, Chucks, anything else. I only have fitness-related stuff on there. I got Nair on there. Y'all could help Coach with his back. No, I'm just kidding. But it's all good. And people think, some people get offended that I have a wish list. I don't care. People buy stuff. Those were the shite back in the day, plus your clairvoyance with the Blaha death timer, right? Well, they weren't hard to call. Like, those weren't difficult, Jacob. Like, I'm surprised everybody who's been in the iron game didn't pick every one of those out before me and call them. Like, we've all watched this happen. We've all lost friends to drug abuse in the gear game. We've all lost people. We've all seen the signs. Like, if you've been in the hardcore lifting scene for decades, for 20 years, you've lost multiple friends. But I'm not the only guy who's been lifting a long time. Make sense? All these other people could have called it. Right? Anyone who's been in the game 20 plus years could have called every one of those, because we've all seen it. Like, we've seen this happen before, you know? But it's, again, people aren't understanding how hard these guys go. You know, they're not using 500 milligrams of tests. And former Mr. Olympia says they didn't have great genetics. They're always lying. Yeah, they're always lying. Coach, you're one of the few that's still going strong with us, because we promote fitness and longevity. It's because I also didn't abuse hefty amounts of anything in the past. People think I did, but I really didn't. Coach, what I love about Brad is he's kept it up, still looking great. He's still pretty fit. You know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Right? Brad Pitt, I've seen, so I know what you're talking about. He's still in shape. Right? You got to give credit where credit's due, man. And he's a good actor. I've liked a lot of Brad Pitt's movies. You know, I mean, let's be fair. Man's a good actor. He's done a lot of really classic roles that were iconic. And like you said, he's kept himself in shape. He's in his 60s. He's still in shape. So, you know, credit where credit is due. Right? Got to respect it. And it doesn't matter that he wasn't ultra jacked or whatever. He was lean and fit. Compare that to the average person out there. Lock, Stock is my favorite movie he's in, right? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Is prime brain rot motivational sink or test? I think it's brain rot, personally. Like, no, dude, prawn addiction is actually it's a legitimate real problem. He broke through very late too. On the full body train with you, coach, squat, dead, close grip, chin, hammer, curl. Yes, sir. Think I'm going to roll with that for a while. Cool, man. Sounds good, Matt. Brad, I don't have an answer to that. It'll happen when it happens. You know, and no controversial. I'm not saying every dude who does it gets an addiction, but when it becomes an addiction, it's a real problem. Like, it can legitimately ruin your life. You know, but I guess it's like I say with alcohol. You know, I brought that up with other people. Like, well, what about people who can moderate alcohol? What are that? I'm like, yeah, okay, fair, but every alcoholic started with the first drink. And you can't argue against that point. Had every alcoholic in the world never taken their first drink, there wouldn't be a single alcoholic. Right? So we could say the same with the porn addiction. If you don't know that you're prone to the addiction or not, you're taking the risk if you start indulging in it too much. Just be aware, you know. And that's the way to look at it. Even if you don't get, you know, just the mindset. I would advocate being very cautious. Have you altered your diet a touch now that you're running? Yeah, I had added a little more healthy fats in. How do hammer curls compare to regular curls regarding bicep stimulation? Well, Benjamin, we could argue that all day long. Plenty of guys built pretty big arms off hammer curls. That they're a more complete arm exercise. Whether we could argue about the biceps itself, and the brachialis, radiobrachialis, all that are going to come up a lot. Just saying, it's going to give more complete arm development. It may not give as much direct bicep, but we don't have a lot of data to confirm that, especially when you have studies where lat pull downs equal dumbbell curls for bicep growth. You know, it's going to be really hard to pin that down and prove with a long-term study that a supine grip builds more than the hammer. And it gets really clouded with MRI because brachialis growth gets clouded with it. Trap bar jumps for dynamic. I don't like jumping weights like that. I would rather people jump onto a box. You're really risking stuff like Achilles tendon ruptures and things if you're not super careful. I recommend jumping onto a box, and if you need to weight it, then weight it. Just me personally. Healthy fats for the inflammation. Yeah. Improved insulin sensitivity, keeping the inflammation low. Because I was concerned with the beating my tendons. Like, I don't want to run really low fat with that fresh tendon inflammation being hit. Right? Cold showers, mindset, tool, or metabolic. No, it's just a mindset. I don't think I'm not a fan. Like, we don't need other stuff to harden us. Your training is enough. Like, get under a heavy barbell, go running, drag us, push a sled. We don't need this other stuff, you know, for mental toughness. It's just not necessary. You just get in and train, right? Discipline yourself with proper training, proper nutrition, hard training. You don't need this other stuff for your mindset, man. Just get in and get the work done. Build discipline through the things that are going to directly help you. Because different tools build discipline. But you need to also look, am I using a tool that's going to give me some other benefit? But there's no metabolic training, not to cold showers. Matt, I've also found this, coach, high carb, low fat does keep me lean, but I can feel my joints a little more. So healthy fats go a long way for insulin. Not just insulin sensitivity, but inflammation control. Those PUFAs add up. MUFAs to a lesser extent. Right? But the same thing, you're taking your carbs really high. A little bit of healthy fats keeps that insulin sensitivity super high too. That's always a good thing for our gains. You know, the higher our insulin sensitivity, the easier muscle growth happens. Right? easier to maintain good body composition too. So we always want to be trying to maximize insulin sensitivity. All right. I'm already doing weighted chin, so I'm a little more forearm with the biceps and hammer curls. Yeah, hammer curls are fine there. But definitely in that case, makes perfect sense to me. All right. Makes perfect sense to me, brother. We consider upright rows a multi-joint movement. There's no question about that. There's literally no debate to if an upright row is a multi-joint movement. That's not even a real question. Is a bench press a multi-joint movement? I mean, all right, here's a very, okay, I'm gonna say this without being facetious. The way to tell if an exercise is a multi-joint movement, do two different joints move during it? Does more than one joint move at the same time? Then it's a multi-joint movement. Single joint versus multi-joint. Single joint means only a single joint moves. So the second your curl involves any shoulder movement, it turns into a multi-joint exercise. The only way it's a single joint is if you're like on a preacher bench or your elbows stay completely locked at your side and your shoulders don't move. Right? Multi-joint means two joints move or more. I've been consistently hitting that 0.4 grams for fats. You and Dulcie are talking about it, my joints are thinking, yeah, dude, you're going to definitely notice an inflammation different. And when we say that we're talking healthy fats, I'm not telling you to eat a bunch of butter. We're talking, olives, avocados, nuts, seeds, or fatty fish, you can still pull it off. Obviously the omega-3s are pretty effective. Right, omega-3 is going to be your most anti-inflammatory, but a mix of healthy fats, it all benefits. Because in order of inflammation reduction, it's going to go omega-3, omega-6, and then stuff like oleic acid, which is omega-9 or monounsaturated. Right? Why do we always make that jump? People will say 3, 6, and mono, and it's like, you mean it's omega-9. So if we're going to say mono, then we should just say PUFA, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. What's your opinion on Nordic hamstring curls? I'm not a fan, man. I think they're a knee injury risk for no necessary reason. I'm not saying they don't develop the hamstrings really well. You can develop the hamstrings with less risk of knee injury, personally, my opinion. I'm not saying it's a bad exercise. It's an effective exercise. I question the safety relative to the efficiency. Again, it can be tough on your knee joints. And we're already doing all this other stuff. We don't need to add unnecessary stress on there and injury risk. I just watched a short where Tom Platt said he used to eat bacon, butter, and drink wine every day. He said he wished he'd eaten more. Oh, God, what a stupid statement. Ian says, good morning, coach. I've been doing single arm cable ladder raises for sometimes wondering if I have the handle behind your torso. Could you activate your side toe? What? And you guys come up with some really weird stuff. I'm not even, just wow. Just stop. There's no need for all that. Hey, coach, I just noticed some people talk to you like you aren't allowed to ever change your mind. You notice, of course, they act like I literally get people who hate me for changing my mind or changing my opinion or growing as a person. It is not allowed. You are never allowed to examine evidence and change your opinion, right? Never. You have to be dogmatic on everything for 30, 40 years straight. It's required, right? Right. Only have 80 kilograms of, yeah, but Jacob, so do what you can do. Tom Platt seems like an ignorant. Yeah, that's just a ridiculousness. All right. I feel like would Nordics give me good hamstring growth with only body weight plus 10 kilograms? I mean, Jacob, do you want me to change my answer? I mean, I gave you my answer, my opinion on it. Or you could do more reps with the weight you have, or you could do a good morning. Good morning will give you more mileage with the limited weight. I was just giving, okay, fair enough. A lot of times people do that and they're wanting me to change my answer. Yeah, fair enough, Jacob. I'll respond to this silly troll. I literally have chest hair and I have a beard I shave off. That is proof beyond all medical doubt that I do not have Klinefelters. I literally have chest hair. All right. How do you rate straight arm pull downs? I generally don't. I'm not a big fan. Really, I asked about the lateral raises because if I have it in front, I notice my traps take up. No, you didn't. No, your traps cannot take over. There is literally no way for you to do a cable lateral raise without your side delt being the primary, most important mover, unless you turn it into a front raise. It is biomechanically impossible. Like you literally cannot physically do it, which is why I'm just like, this is ridiculous. You guys get really overboard, insane with these alterations on isolation movements. It's ridiculous. And the influencers who promote this stuff are complete clowns. It's not how any of this works. As a Zoomer, smartphones seem like an addiction of my generation. Does it seem like more or less of a problem? I don't know. They're just a normal part of life. They're an essential part of my business. So I don't really have an opinion on that. I have to use multiple smartphones all the time, literally as part of my 7-day-a-week business. So for me, they're just part of my my business model and my income. So, I mean, they're just part of modern life. I mean, it's kind of like my generation, I guess, living where I live, cars became an addiction. Everyone had to have access to one every day just to function where I live, in the part of the world I live in, because the way things are spread out in Texas. Jacob says, I definitely agree with you, though, a few sets of Nordics, my knees feel beat. Yep. So again, go do a different movement would be my advice. But why are we talking about smartphones on a fitness channel? Come on. It's not a fitness related topic. Next. I apologize to my audience for breaking my own rules. All right. I went off topic in a normal sit down stream on the bike, which I broke my own rules. Bad coach. Hey, Luke, I actually really get annoyed by people pointing that out. Like, I really don't care. Like, in the running streams, that comes up, Peppermint's about to laugh. I've been banning people in the running streams for even bringing up stupid stuff like broken glass. I don't care. Move. I'm pretty mean about it when people bring it up. I'm like, well, quit living in the fucking ghetto. Don't project it onto me. I don't care. I'm not trying to be a mean, but it's really annoying. Just saying. Because you guys live in the hood, don't project it onto the rest of us. Just go move and don't tell us about it. We don't care. Like, sorry, guys. Move out of the ghetto. Oh man. Like, I've never seen a broken bottle while out running so far, anywhere near my running area. Can drinking more fluids help prevent kidney stones? Yes. In fact, anyone who's prone to issues with oxalates and kidney stones, simply drinking more water eliminates the problem. That's what the leading researchers say. You a despot. I'm not even sure what that means, banning people, right? I banned a bunch of people today, actually. I'm just like, let's just do it. I put stronger filters in. We're going to put timers in. I'm going to put up with more stuff. I'm going to be a little less band happy and see how it works out. Stronger filters. I turned the filter strength way up, though. See if that helps. Put people in timeout. Those barefoot toe shoes biomechanics, so they're close, but it's still not barefoot from the skin, building your skin up. I wore holes through all of mine, though I don't have any more. I literally wore all 4 pairs out that I owned. I don't own any anymore. I literally burned holes through them. So I do true barefoot. No, I'm out there in a pair of shorts and a fanny pack, and that's it. A ruler of other person wields absolute power to one who has exercised in a cruel. Okay. Benevolent. I'm a benevolent dictator. There we go. All right. Yeah, but Lars, I can't help you guys with that. I'm okay. It says, given that you're an influencer for followers, I would assume your advice would be more generalized and not just your individual case. But I don't put out running advice, Lars. I'm running as someone who is not a running coach. Does that make sense? I'm not a running coach. Well, I do. I think barefoot running is great. Tons of podiatrists and doctors and other people advocate barefoot running. I really like doing it. Is it safe to do low rep sets on single joint movements? Not necessarily. I would be very careful of it. Luke said that's exactly what it is. I left after paying all my masters. And now, man, not mean. Just glad you speak your mind. Direct communication is easy. Awesome. Appreciate it, man. No, Lord, I think barefoot running is great. But I can't tell you where to go run. I mean, and it's like, as someone who is not a running coach, people don't hire me as a running coach. I can't give you advice on where to go find a place to run. I can't deal with everyone's international situations and all that. But yes, barefoot running is literally really good. Growing up was totally inescapable. Yeah, fair enough. And long-term debate topic of free weights for the machine. Why does the Smith machine bench press often produce more delayed onset? Oh, God. I don't even think the Smith machine bench press should exist. There's my answer. I think it's stupid. Yeah, I would be very careful of a myostatin inhibitor. Like, why don't you just use testosterone like normal people? Like, why would anyone even risk something that has such horrific side effects as myostatin inhibition? Dude, just blast a bunch of tests. It would be way safer. Like, you really want to inhibit your myostatin given the side effects we see in humans who are born with a deficiency? That really sounds like a good idea, right? What would happen if you accidentally turned it off permanently? Dude, you'd be better off just ending your life at that point. Like, could you imagine the horrific nightmare your existence would be if you totally turned your myostatin off as someone who didn't grow up with it and wasn't used to it already? And you as an adult had to experience full myostatin inhibition for the rest of your life would be literal living hell. They're in horrific amounts of pain, controversy. It is an extremely painful medical condition to have. Right? You are aware of that, right? It is extremely painful. But they grow up with it, so they're able to tolerate it to some extent. But if you didn't grow up with that already, and your pain was at a 9+, 7 days a week, 24/7, as a grown adult, with a continual nonstop muscle cramps, intense muscle cramps, and all the problems they have every time you move, you wouldn't want to even serve. You would not want to live anymore. Right? All right, guys, we're past the hour. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. Shut down Facebook first. Is it going to shut down? Come on, Facebook. What are you doing? All right, we're going to end the YouTube. Love you guys.